Now, the Ian Jessop Show.
Almost every day I get an email from someone wanting to know the next time Corrie Yelland is going to be on the program. Well, it's today. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with Corrie, she was diagnosed with cancer about 4.5 years ago. The doctor suggested radiation. She refused. The doctor said she would be dead within 6 months. And she researched the use of cannabis oil and began taking it. And today is cancer-free. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
Now, I have an email here from a woman in Alberta. She says, my daughter has severe pain. This is from you, Linda. Because of compressed discs and spinal stenosis, and we're looking for relief for that pain. However, when searching online for buying indica seeds, there seems to be many different varieties and places to buy. She wants to know what type of indica seed is best for pain relief, or do you need a specific seed?
I don't know that you need a specific seed. Any kind of indica or indica dominant, indica sedating, sativa is uplifting. Perhaps she'd like to try sativa in the daytime, indica at night to sleep. If she could go to a dispensary in Alberta, that might be a good idea, or even to a head shop, some of them that sell seeds, and just get some information that way.
Okay, have callers on the line already, so let's take the first call on Tim. Hi, Tim.
Aloha, how are you today? Hi, Corrie.
Hi, Tim.
Where are you calling from, Tim?
I'm calling from Denver, Colorado. I'm actually court-certified expert in cannabis, and I set up the second dispensary in the state of Colorado. So I've been actively a volunteer along with Corrie through the Phoenix Tears Foundation for about 8 years right now. So
how's business
I'm kind of one of those
how's business for you?
Ground-level people. Well, it's burgeoning. I mean, literally, since we began, Dr. Janet Sweeney, myself, and Corrie, some other volunteers, the interest level in people getting instant information for their loved one or themselves just is a really a growing circumstance. I usually get a call about every 15 minutes for the last 10 years in regards to people that are really looking for answers. And, some of the answers are easily found on Google, but there are more complicated issues as well associated with natural plant therapy and killing cancer.
Tim, tell me some of the success stories for people who have been using cannabis oil.
Well, I've seen some real miracles, over the last 12 years. My doctor originally asked me to get involved as an advocate, and this was before there was only one dispensary in the Denver area. But in terms of some of our wins that we've had, I had a woman named Sandra who got MRSA, staph infection on the top of her foot from Lutheran Hospital in Wheat Ridge, Colorado. And we were able to use one of Janet Sweeney's topical lotions that's made with the cannabis oil and essential oils, some other things that really, in a matter of 2 months' time, her top of her foot went from looking like a brown, worn piece of shoe leather back to totally dissipated that look and just completely normal and resolved. We've had quite a few successes with regards to breast cancers. I'm executive producer of a new documentary that hopefully will be released soon called Run from the Cure 2. And there's an interview in it that will be a woman named Melinda Lewis, who quite remarkably had breast cancer 3 different times. And each of the times we were able to resolve it with a combination of the lotion and eating the cannabis oil and vaporizing with it. And there's such a thing as a cancer personality, and I think Melinda Lewis is a really great example of that you're going to see in the movie, because she went through a situation where we also had health issues associated with her having seizures. So, the first time it was her anti-seizure medication that was prescribed that she was being overdosed for about a period of 2.5 years.
Wow.
And it was actually causing a multitude of seizures. There's pseudo seizures and complex seizures and grand mal seizures. And we were able to address that over time. And she was seizure-free for about 4 years. And then about 2 years ago, I noticed when we got together for a visit that she was having a pseudo seizure, just a blank stare over her face all of a sudden. Basically, we used a heavy CBD capsule that Janet Sweeney was auditing with a number of patients, and using a intensive CBD oral therapy, we were able to completely eliminate her epileptic condition over a matter of about 9 weeks. And I think she's gone about 17 or 18 months right now without having any further seizures.
Interesting. Tim, Tim, I've got to get to some other calls, but when is your documentary Run for the Cure 2 out?
We're
hopefully
looking
soon
forward to getting a copy from the director shortly. Christian Lorette is up in Nova Scotia, and we'll definitely keep you abreast the minute that we're able to do a opener, and we want to make it just as the Run from the Cure, the original documentary, that it's available worldwide for free for people. So,
okay, I'd like to do an
interview. We're really excited about that.
I'd like to do an interview with you when it's finished. So send me an email.
Sure.
Okay.
I look forward to that, and hopefully we can have Christian Lorette, the director, on as well.
Absolutely.
So that he can give you some of his great insights. I really applaud you for what a wonderful show that you've been doing with Corrie. Even though we're thousands of miles away, I'm a regular listener, and we really appreciate getting this incredible information out there. And the last free the plant, and thank goodness for the ruling today in Canada that people are going to be able to grow their own medicine, it looks like.
Yeah, it's great.
In your country.
Thank you, Tim.
We need that kind of thing. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Appreciate your call. Next call is Robin. Hi, Robin.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Hi, Corrie.
Hi, is this the Robin I think it is?
It is.
How are you?
California.
Wonderful.
Where do you live, Robin?
I live in Imperial Valley in California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and my 3-year-old granddaughter, September of 2013, got diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, and it's a bone cancer, and it was in her femur bone. And they wanted to amputate because they said she was too young for radiation. And with Ewing sarcoma, only 200 kids a year get it from in the United States yearly, so it's very, very supposedly rare, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so they do 3 months of chemo, and then what they do is they usually, if they can, they remove the tumor. And hers was going to be moved from her hip down. But we got a miracle. The doctors were surprised, and she got photon radiation, not proton, but photon radiation in San Diego. And amazingly, it shrunk it, and it killed the tumor. She had another following 9 months of chemo. And so after treatment, like a couple of weeks after treatment, because of the radiation and the chemo damage in her leg, her whole femur was brittle. And when she just tripped and fell, and she fractured her femur. So this was a process. She was in a cast for 8 weeks. It wasn't healing. They found out later that there was a cyst behind her kneecap that kept re-breaking the bone. Got pins put in where her knee is. Was in a stick of cast for another couple of months. And then it healed, and they were going along. And, with chemo, with Ewing sarcoma, she has to be seen every 3 months with full scans because it's really an aggressive beast, and it comes back a lot. So what they did is she fell again, like, I don't know, 6 months later, and she fractured her femur again. So she was in a cast, and they said, oh, it's only going to be, a few weeks. Well, when they went in to get the cast removed, it had not healed. And the tumor board met along with her oncologist and said that her only option was for her leg to be amputated from the hip down. And the reason, because it was just, her bone was just too brittle, and radiant bone doesn't heal in a fast pace. It takes years before it gets stronger. So ever since Kaylin got diagnosed, I have been on the internet searching, and that's how I met Corrie. And I had read in Israel where they did this study. Are you still there?
Yep, no, I'm still here. I tell you what, Robin, can you hang on? I have to take a commercial break.
Sure.
We have to pay some bills here, and I'll come back, and you can continue your story. I'll just put you on hold, and we'll come back right after this.
Interactive talk. It's the Ian Jessop Show.
Welcome back. We're talking to Corrie Yelland, cancer survivor, and we're talking about the use of cannabis oil. And Robin in California was telling a story about your granddaughter.
Yes.
And so continue your story, Robin.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, that's...
So anyway, I've been doing a lot of studies on the internet since she got diagnosed. And I found that there was a study in Israel where it showed that high CBD oil promoted bone growth. And my head thought, well, why don't we try it? And Kaylin's mom also did a lot of research, and she found the hyperbaric chamber. A lot of football players use it to help with injury, to speed up the injury. So we contacted the doctor, the oncologist, and asked if it would set her back any, if it would, you always worry about the cancer coming back. And she said no. She said, but we had a 0 chance. We were selfish. Kaylin's leg should be amputated to give her a quality of life. But
That's a strange response, isn't it? I mean,
Pardon me?
That's a strange response. They wanted to take her leg. You wanted to save her leg, but you were selfish.
Yes. But I think, they've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
And so they were not very encouraging. The orthopedic surgeon she said, try everything you can. So we said, give us 3 months. So I contacted Corrie, and I said, Corrie, this is the case. We wanted to put her on cannabis if she was going through the chemo and the radiation. But a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, how do you do that, in your mind? And who would even approve it? And so we did not. I wish we would have. So I got a hold of Corrie, and Corrie, I found a doctor that gave us that would give us the medical marijuana card. Once he saw her, he approved it, and I contacted Corrie, and she steered me in the right direction where we got lab-tested high CBD oil. That was what they recommended. And because she was in a cast, we couldn't put it on the injury site. She would rub it on the arm. It was a topical. So it was mixed with frankincense and other things it was mixed with. But the high CBD oil, and it was tested by the lab. That was really important, I think. And we put her in a hyperbaric chamber for 30 days. So she was on the cannabis for 2 months, and the high CBD oil and the hyperbaric chamber for 30 days coinciding. And we took her in for an X-ray, and saw the orthopedic surgeon, and she came out and sat down, and she said, well, we were thinking that they were just going to say, okay, it's getting him better. That's what we were hoping. And she said, there's no sign of fracture. It's completely healed, and we can't even see where it was fractured. And she said, and now from the hip down, it's all healthy bone, except for right above the kneecap, where that was where all the pins were put and the fractures were. That's really brittle. It was still really brittle. So we had to be very careful. She still had a cast. But she had all healthy bone. And I'm like, wait, have you ever seen this before? And she said, no. She said, radiated bone takes years. It'll get stronger after years. She says, I've never seen anything like this. Kaylin's a miracle.
Yeah, it's an incredible story, Robin. Thank you very much. I appreciate your call. We have to move on to the next caller, and Carey. Hi, Carey. Thanks for waiting.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm in constant pain, and I'm waiting for surgery on both knees, which is 12 to 18 months, and they won't tell me when. but I got mono when I was 20, so this has been going on for 45 years. So headaches, both shoulders are screwed up. I can't, I did some work in the yard just tidying up, and I had to come and sit down for a while.
Carey,
Is there anything? Sorry, go ahead.
You're in rough shape.
Yeah, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 67, but I'm older in my body than I really should be. And the pain, I wake up with it during the night as well.
Yeah. Corrie, what can Carey do? Any ideas?
Carey, have you been to your doctor, tried to get a recommendation for cannabis?
No, actually, I think he's pretty much against the whole thing. My godson has done a huge amount of research, and he's kind of interceding for me. He recommended, he's going to want to try Phoenix Tears.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really know that much about it. He's quite...
Well, I definitely think that would help you. How about if maybe they give my phone number off the air and you give me a call later, and I think I've got a few suggestions for you of, alternative things that you could try.
Absolutely wonderful. I would very much appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put you on hold, and TJ will get your phone number, and Corrie, you can call him.
Okay.
Now, Corrie, you sent me pictures of a youngster with dystonia.
Muscle dystonia.
Yeah, and I didn't know what it was, so I looked it up. It's a state of abnormal muscle tone resulting in muscular spasm and abnormal posture. Typically due to neurological disease or a side effect of drug therapy. Now, the pictures were absolutely incredible because this little guy was just in a vegetative state almost.
Yes.
And tell us the story.
He's 2 or 3. He had a severe case of muscle dystonia. They'd used all sorts of different medications. This child, this is really hard to envision, but I'm going to put it out there so people will understand just how bad this was. This child was doubled up with his buttocks behind his head and in constant pain. Trying to seat him in a car seat was almost impossible. He was so contorted. We got him on cannabis oil and under his doctor's care in Colorado. And he is flourishing. The difference, I mean, you can see in the pictures, here's this child literally bent backwards. Here's this child sitting normally in a car seat. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely amazing, the difference. And the doctor's recommendation is to continue on the cannabinoid therapy.
Now, would he take high CBD and low THC? How do you know what to take, especially for a youngster?
I don't really know. I suspect that in this case it's probably a combination of THC and CBD. But the thing is that any cannabis oil that you get that's high THC is going to have some CBD in it anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And you'd give it at night so that the child would sleep.
Probably, and then maybe CBD in the daytime. But children build up a tolerance very quickly to THC.
Yeah.
We've had children on a gram and a half of THC oil a day, and they function completely normally.
Do they?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you build them up to that dose.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. Corrie Yelland is our guest. Corrie is with us every month to talk about issues. If you want to give us a call, we have a free phone board here. Our number is 386-1161. You give us a call or email us at talk@cfax1070.com. We'll take a break for the news shortly, and then we'll come back because Corrie also has a story about a fellow in Revelstoke. Someone was listening to this program in Kelowna. We broadcast into Kelowna, and they were listening in Revelstoke and heard it. And he had prostate cancer.
Pancreas.
Oh, pancreatic cancer.
Pancreatic.
And he started taking cannabis oils. Very interesting story, and we'll tell that story when we come back after the news.
Now, the Ian Jessop Show.
Welcome back. Corrie Yelland is our guest. She's a cancer survivor, was told about 4.5 years ago that if she didn't have radiation, she would be dead within 6 months, and she's here today, cancer-free. It's interesting that it took a lot of guts for you to say no to radiation, didn't it?
It did. It did, but, people said to me, oh, you were so brave not doing radiation and choosing this alternative treatment. And quite frankly, I was scared shitless to have radiation because I had done the research, and it just was going to be a horror show. And what people don't realize with chemo and radiation, they know about the short-term side effects. If you're going to vomit, lose your hair, and have burns, etc. But they don't understand that this will change their life forever, and it will change their health forever, and they will have side effects for the rest of their life. Mm-hmm. It's like we have this whole generation now of young adults who had childhood cancers, and because we are, in quotations, so successful in treating pediatric cancer now, that these young adults now have horrific medical problems. And when I say horrific, I'm talking about medical problems where they require 24-hour around-the-clock care. And this is as a result of the radiation and chemotherapy they had as kids, and they will never lead normal lives.
Last time you were on last month, there was a caller who wanted to get on the air, and we had a backup of calls, and he had a lengthy wait and eventually hung up. He claimed he was a doctor and was very perturbed about the fact that we were even discussing cannabis oil, because he says, I think, and I'm probably misquoting him here, but said we're doing a disservice to the public.
Yeah, something about snake oil.
Yeah, snake oil.
Yeah.
And you sent me a 750-page document that has medical references through it for various illnesses and diseases. And I was surprised at the number of medical studies that have been undertaken with respect to marijuana over the years, and they show a benefit with the use of cannabis oil.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of studies.
Yeah, and I found a piece, and I was just trying to look for it, that the first use of cannabis oil, and this was from the British Journal of Psychiatry in 1996. The first report of cannabis as a medicine appeared in China 5,000 years ago. And it was recommended for malaria, constipation, rheumatic pains, and childbirth. And they mixed it with wine as a surgical analgesic. So 5,000 years ago it was used, and it was in quite common use.
Yes.
Up until the 1930s, when it was demonized in the United States, and the United States wanted all governments to ban the use of marijuana.
Yes.
And I think with your success and the success of a lot of people who have used cannabis oil, it shows it does have enormous medical benefits that the medical community almost refuses to accept or doesn't understand. Do you agree?
I think it's a combination of both, yeah. But, interestingly enough, the Queen Mother used to take indica for her menstrual cramps.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Seriously. Yeah, I'll try and find the article and send it to you.
Oh, okay. Let's go to the next caller, Dawn. Hi, Dawn.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ian, and to you, Corrie. I was just going to make a comment, Corrie, that what you've done, I see as a reflection of the technical revolution. I mean, when I hear all the networking you've done and all the people that call you and seek guidance, I just think it's a wonderful thing. Like all the people you've helped and so on and so forth, and it kind of circumvents the what would you say, the commercial drug companies per se. And it's I just think it's a wonderful thing. So I was just going to say thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think what you'll see, I was thinking about this during the break, with the increased use of cannabis oil and its success, I think you will see once again the special interest groups starting to demonize it because they're losing revenue. They will lose revenue.
Well, I was just going to maybe jump in there, Ian, and say, like in the South here in Florida, what they've done now, the Republicans have kind of, upstaged the natural progression of legalizing it here with the idea they're going to allow people that are terminally ill. And so if someone is diagnosed with only 1 year to live, then you are within your rights to have medical marijuana, and that way they can circumvent, legalizing it more on a broader scale. So it's just a stall tactic, and frankly, I think it's ridiculous, but it is what it is. So it's just a matter of time before I would suspect that most North Americans get on board with this, because as Corrie has demonstrated, it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Don. Appreciate your call.
Yeah, take care.
I have an email here, Corrie from Bev, who says she's listening in Kelowna. Can you please talk about the benefits or not of cannabis oil for rheumatoid arthritis as well as osteoporosis?
Okay.
Rheumatoid arthritis.
Rheumatoid arthritis. CBD, high CBD oil is very good for inflammatory conditions of any kind. I have a number of people here in Victoria that have gotten signed up at the Cannabis Buyers Club for arthritis and have had amazing results. With rheumatoid arthritis, I think I would tend to be doing high THC oil, at least at night, and to do CBD oil in the daytime.
Now, would they rub the CBD oil on the joints or just take it internally?
I'd take it internally, but certainly you could get a topical as well.
Yeah.
And do both.
How do you know how much to take?
Well, you don't. I mean, when I talk to people who don't have cancer, because with cancer we sort of have that, general protocol of the 60 grams in 90 days.
Yeah.
When I talk to people who have, say, fibromyalgia or Crohn's disease or something like that, I get them to start out following the protocol that you would follow with cancer, which is to basically take the size of a half a grain of short grain rice 3 times a day, do that for 3 or 4 days, slowly build up that dose. And I always say to people, you will know when you've reached your level. And they kind of look at me, and I always say that I know that sounds a little vague, but they instinctively know when they're at a place where they're comfortable within their body. And I can't look at 2 people with fibromyalgia and say it's going to take you 3 weeks, and you're going to have to get up to a 1/4 gram a day, and the other person's going to have to get up to a 1/2 gram. Everybody is different, and this isn't like alcohol. With alcohol, you look at that 80-pound woman and she's going to get quite inebriated quicker than the 200-pound man. It's not the same with cannabis. So each individual is unique and different. So you just start out small. If it's not working, you take a bit more, take a bit more, take a bit more.
And then you know.
And then you'll know.
Then you know. Yeah.
You'll instinctively know.
Yeah. And so with rheumatoid arthritis, it'd be the same with osteoporosis. Same
thing. Yeah. Which is why I tend to throw in the THC as well at night with the osteoarthritis too. Or osteoporosis,
Yeah. This chart I have in front of me that lists a number of ailments with THC and CBD in a click. Did you send that to me? I don't know where I got that.
I think I probably did.
Yeah, because it. You have the THC and CBD, and the CBD works for most ailments. It doesn't work for antimicrobial. THC works for that, and it doesn't work for anxiety or seizures. The CBD works for that, and it doesn't cause drowsiness. The CBD does, but it works for everything else, and I think that's because of the cannabinoid receptors we have in our body. Is that right?
Yes.
Boy, I'm a medical doctor now.
You're getting there. You're getting there.
Yeah, no, I think this is a great little chart because it really tells you that the cannabis oil is extremely helpful in really most ailments we have.
I say to people, show me a disease condition this does not at least help.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Let's take our next caller in Shirley. Hi, Shirley.
Hi. Question. I have cancer. I had a surgery. Then the cancer came back, and I had maximum radiation. And I'm just wanting to know if I go on the cannabis oil, I don't know what kind to get, how much to take. How do I find out about this?
What kind of cancer, Shirley?
Endometrial cancer. So I had in my uterus, I had a complete hysterectomy, and then weird. Anyways, afterwards, I got cancer of the vagina.
Okay.
I shouldn't know why I'm saying it quietly so nobody hears, but anyways.
I didn't hear a thing.
Yeah, geez.
So basically, you would need a high...
Then I had the maximum radiation for that, and it shrunk the tumors, but I don't know if it's... Then this has just all been within the last 3 years.
Yeah. I would be taking a high THC oil. You're going to get some CBD in that anyway.
See, that's what worries me too. Is I don't want anything that's going to make me feel dizzy or disoriented or anything. Well,
if you came to me and I was talking to you on Skype or whatever, I would be looking at you and saying you need to do suppositories, and you could do vaginal suppositories. You won't get high.
Okay.
Okay. And the bioavailability of doing it suppository-wise versus orally is quite a bit higher.
Okay. And can I come to see you, or do you see people?
Well, I don't have an office per se, but if you'd like to give your number to TJ off the air, I'd be more than willing to give you a call.
Okay. Because my sister also has cancer too, so she could maybe benefit from this as well.
So Shirley, we'll try and get both of you healthy.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just put you on hold, and TJ will get your number, and Corrie will give you a call.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It's very interesting. We didn't get to the story about the fellow in Revelstoke who had pancreatic cancer.
Pancreatic cancer. So he apparently was in Kelowna at the cancer clinic for a checkup and happened to hear us on the air. And his wife called me. He's stage 4 pancreatic, quite far gone. Had been in hospital for several weeks, unable to eat. He wasn't able to keep anything down. Pretty rough shape, basically sent home to live out his last days. And talked with his wife and made some suggestions, and they ended up getting him on cannabis oil. I believe he's been on it for about 3 weeks now. He came home. She gave him a suppository of cannabis oil. Within a few hours, he was up and eating and able to hold down food. And then they just went to the oncologist last week, and the oncologist is just flabbergasted. He said, I don't know what's going on here. But anyway, all the cancer around the pancreas and in the pancreas is shrinking. And it's only been a matter of weeks.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And he heard us at the Cancer Institute in Kelowna.
Yeah.
Isn't that ironic?
It is ironic. I love it.
Yeah. Corrie Yelland is our guest. We'll take a break. And Nick, hang on. We'll get to your call right after the break.
Invigorating talk. Now, the Ian Jessop Show.
Welcome back. Cancer survivor Corrie Yelland is our guest, and Nick has been patiently waiting. Nick, thanks for waiting.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me on. I got a quick question for you, not regarding cancer and cannabis oil, but my wife, she has an autoimmune disease, and it's called Behcet's. So I wanted to know if you have any insights regarding cannabis oil or marijuana and alleviating or helping people with autoimmune diseases, specifically possibly Behcet's, which is a little bit more rare than some of the other ones that are out there.
Well, I'm not familiar with the disease itself, but certainly autoimmune disorders, cannabis oil has a great success rate with.
Okay, how would she go about getting something like that? Talking to her doctor, getting the card, or?
Well, first thing to do would be go see her doctor and get a referral, and then, my suggestion would be for her to go down to you're in Victoria?
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, to go down to the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club. They're very knowledgeable down there, and they'd be able to tell her what she needs.
What's the disease called, Nick?
It's called Behcet's.
Behcet's
syndrome. Yeah,
never heard of that.
Yeah, it's marked by severe canker sores in the mouth and some ulcers and sores throughout the body, and just kind of comes and goes. So she's been on a number of different products. A lot of them are steroids like prednisone, seem to alleviate it, but it comes back every couple of months, and it comes back in full force. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of maybe other ways that are a little bit more natural and not so possibly toxic like steroids that might actually help in the long run.
Yeah, well, give it a try. You got nothing to lose, right?
Yeah, so what was that called again, Victoria?
The Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club. And if you want, Nick, send me a friend request on Facebook, and I can float you some more information, etc. But please do send a note with it so I know who you are, because I have tons of people who want to be on my page, and I've only got a couple of spots left.
I can imagine. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, good luck, Nick.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye. And next caller is Ginette. Hi, Ginette.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you very much for taking my call. Corrie, I have a question for you.
Okay.
First of all, I'm very nervous. This is the first person I've ever talked to about what I've been doing.
Just relax. Take a deep breath.
Well, if it helps, I'm nervous here.
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm So grateful to talk to you. So I've done 140 plus cc's of Brixenson oil to date. Just to go back a bit, I've had cancer for 10 years, decline, radiation, chemo, tamoxifen, yada, yada. And then I had a baby last year and did chemo and radiation when I was diagnosed with cancer that had gone from the breast to the liver. Yeah, and so I currently get herb from Tilray and oil from Martin Medical Services in Saskatoon. And the cancer has not decreased. The lump is getting bigger. And I need dosage help, as well as whether I should... Oh, and I'm also taking suppositories 1 or 2 a day, so I've probably taken 150 of those as well. Are you guys still there?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So you need dosage help. Okay.
Well, so my 2 questions are, well, I have lots of questions, but suppositories, how long before the medicine, if you had a bowel movement, say 20 minutes later or an hour later, I mean, how long does it have to be in for? Just to make sure I'm
20 minutes, I believe.
20 minutes? Okay,
yes.
So that's perfect. Thank you, Corrie. Also, so I started with, because I have a baby, I have kids, it's just a gong show, and doing all the treatments. As you can imagine, I was dead set against the hospital world, Western medicine, but I did do it because I don't think I'd be alive right now. So I did do it. But I believe in all the natural.
Ginette, can I interrupt and ask you something? Is this a hormone-positive breast cancer?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what we're finding with hormone-driven breast cancers is sometimes the THC can drive the cancer. So you would probably, what seems to be working better is for people who are on or who have an estrogen-driven breast cancer to be on high CBD with a smaller dose of THC, but CBD to be the prominent cannabinoid.
Ginette, do you know how much THC is in your...
Yes, I do, because it's all lab tested.
Yeah, you're getting that from Jerry Martin out of Saskatchewan?
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard you I've been listening to your show. It's wonderful. I heard you a couple shows ago say that there was one of the dispensaries in Saskatchewan that was not great to go with because of the low THC.
Yeah, this was not him, though.
Okay. No. It wasn't Jerry? Okay.
No.
Thank you. So that was my other question. So I started about 6 months ago because I have a very low, I've never really even taken Tylenol. So I have a very low tolerance. So I started with, I think it was about 200 mgs, what is it called? CBC and the same THC. Does that make sense?
50-50?
Yeah, 50-50.
Yeah, okay.
1-to-1. Sorry, no. What is that considered when it's 200 mgs THC and 200 mgs CBD?
Oh, that would be 50-50. Do you know what the percentage of THC is, though?
Yeah, THC is 200 mgs.
No. What the percent is. Is it 79%? 70%? I mean, generally with cancers, you need about 60% THC or higher.
Exactly. And so I'm taking 2 different kinds. At night, I take them together because of the CBD, the pain the benefits with my pain. I do have pain, and I do have a lot of discomfort from the radiation. Yeah, it goes on. But so what I've been trying to do, and I do take well over 1 cc. I'm trying to get the most THC into me because I've been thinking that that's what's going to heal me. And the reason why this isn't working is because I've been THC and more CBD. But so what I'm doing now is I'm taking at night, I take it 4 times a day. At night, I take about 550 mg of THC. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. It still depends on how strong it is.
Yeah, we're talking about the percentage as opposed to the content.
Yes, okay, but isn't it 55%? Like when I say 550 mgs THC, isn't that 55% THC? Because that's the way I understand it when I went online and spoke to Jerry and figured it all out.
Possibly.
Okay. You know what, Corrie? I think it would be better if Ginette talked to you on the phone.
Because I can't give you just a straight answer here without asking you a whole bunch more questions, and I think we're running out of time here.
Yeah, Ginette, we're almost out of time. I'll tell you what, I'll put you on hold, and TJ will get your number, and Corrie can call you. Is that good?
Right, perfect. I appreciate both of you taking my call.
Okay.
Corrie. Keep up the good work, and take care of your health, Corrie.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Luck.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And Corrie, we're out of time.
We are.
Yep. Thanks very much for coming in. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.